On February 8th, 2026, the most popular punk band in the world, Green Day, opened for Super Bowl LX, followed by a no English, Bad Bunny halftime performance. In response, social media users, as they normally do, jumped on their preferred platforms and gave steaming hot takes. So here's mine. Well, actually, first, some context. In the several weeks leading up to the big game, controversy erupted around the Super Bowl's pre-show artist, Green Day. Its lead, Billie Joe Armstrong, has always been well known for being politically outspoken.
This song is not anti-American, it's anti-war.
And following the announcement, openly criticized the Trump admin.
And this goes out to all the ICE agents out wherever you are. Quit your shitty ass job.
The live performance, on the other hand, ended up being surprisingly short and docile. Tame or not, the event's bold talent choices have and always do spark outrage. This year, though, felt unusually disruptive. A politically outspoken punk band and Latin trap artist? No way, Jose. As a response, conservatives took to the airwaves to promote their own all-American halftime show. Channeling the angst of high school rejects, Turning Point USA ditched prom for their own stellar party in Uncle Tom's basement. And you know what? That's okay. It's more than okay, it's great because it motivated this conversation to happen. For me to make an argument of why Green Day, Bad Bunny, and even America are punk as fuck, while TPUSA isn't. Actually, it's quite far from it, but we'll get to that. For now, I think we're due for a flashback.
What are the aspects of that society that you don't like? How would you like to see it change?
People are not open-minded enough. They think that in order to be stable in society, you have to have money. You got to dress a certain way to be socially acceptable. I don't believe in having to belong to anything to be a person.
On September 10th, 1988, the rise of non-commercial independent music on popular radio stations led Billboard to create the alternative label for its charts. By the late 90s and early 2000s, the linguistic distinction of the label and the rise of the Iraq War led to a widespread adoption of punk culture and music, albeit under the guise of being alternative. So inevitably, when bands like Green Day benefited from this change, purists lashed out saying they reduced punk into nothing more than covert pop. Counterculture, by definition, isn't mainstream. So when punk went pop and adopted the alternative label, it lost some of its roots. You see, their 2009 follow-up album, 21st Century Breakdown, stripped away a lot of the elements that made previous releases feel gritty and authentic. That's not to say that later albums were void of punk, far from it, but you can feel the shifting of the tides. You could sense the influence that the mainstream had on their music. But to me, punk is an outlook, a feeling, an action, a stated position. Its musical composition, themes, and lyrics serve a purpose. They're protest chants, anthems. They're meant to empower and reflect, especially during times of war and conflict.
It kind of turned into more than just fashion or anything like that, but it turned into like a real subculture of people are just like dedicated to, creating something of their own that goes against the mainstream.
Much like punk, rock, at one point in history, was counterculture.
Call it the hidden dangers of rock music, and you'd just be surprised. I say hidden because the devil always has an agenda on what he does.
Seen as the devil's music, it emerged as the most popular genre for nearly 3 decades straight. With its boost in popularity, it became less counter and more culture. Then there was Michigan-born Robert James Ritchie, aka Kid Rock, who released the 1998 album Devil Without a Cause. Riding the final wave of the rock craze and giving it a new twist. It was country, it was metal, it was rap, but it was also rock. He wasn't the first to push the genre in new directions, but he offered enough evolution to feel fresh, new, and distinct, reclaiming rock's roots as counterculture. Leading up to his first term in office, Trump advertised himself as an outsider to the American people.
I want the entire corrupt Washington establishment to hear the words, I'm about to say. We are going to drain the swamp.
An anti-establishment counterculture candidate. For all intents and purposes, he was presenting punk in the most unglorious sense of the term. Of course, Trump was never anti-establishment, nor actually punk. Given his rise, though, it's not hard to understand how counterculture icon Kid Rock would align himself with Trump. His music matches what MAGA was selling. Fuck the establishment, fuck the culture wars, fuck wokies. Then 4 years passed. Trump lost, claimed he didn't, ran again, won again. Well, you know the story. After all this, you would think that Trump's punk counterculture cell would have gone bankrupt like many of his companies. But it most certainly didn't. Instead, the story of a rigged game captured the heart of his base. And let's be clear, winning in the face of a corrupt establishment, beating the odds, that's punk as fuck. That's the story they told. That's the vibes Kid Rock sought to embellish on behalf of his god, King Trump. But when it came time for his TPUSA halftime show, the vibes were all off. The event occurred under a Trump presidency. He's not the underdog. He's not punk. He's the institution. MAGA owns the government, not the culture. It's why they're hell-bent on countering it, and why Kid Rock makes so much sense.
I know I'm one of the most talented people in the world, and I finally got to display that. When I was at about 30 to 40,000 records, you know, the girls were about 130 to 40 pounds, you know, cute in the face, you know. They hit double platinum, and just like supermodels and Playboy bunnies and porno stars approaching you. I'm like, yeah, I could dig that.
An intriguing sentiment I come across a lot is that punk is dead, or has been dead for some time now. This is because punk's openness leaves a lot of room for nefarious actors to try to hijack its identity. Punk actually has a lot in common with conservative movements over the last decade. Arguably, it started out with the Tea Party in 2009 and evolved into what MAGA is today. This is because it's not inherently liberal or conservative. It's the don't tread on me ideology, but with eyeliner and piercing. Punk is non-binary, which unfortunately means it's subject to infiltration by bad actors. Historically, neo-Nazis and anarchists attempted to claim it as their own. After all, the Nazis in the 1980s were counter to the culture, and the anarchists, well, countered culture. So were they punk? I don't think so. Nazis advocate for assimilation, antithetical to individualism, and promote fascist authoritarianism. As for anarchies, burn everything down, leave no walls, no structure, full-on free-for-all. Well, it's a misframing, if not misinterpretation of punk. Like we all do, I found a really insightful comment about this on Reddit from Cactar49. Here's his response.
If the world was perpetually an even playing field, then anarchism would work. But it's not. So some jackass will gather all the power, weapons, and forces, stealing from and subjugating the weak.
As long as it retains its key characteristics of anti-authoritarianism, individualism, and raw expression, under the right conditions, punk can be a sustainable subculture. Many will disagree, understandably. I mean, after all, punk's birth was a reaction to a friction between power and its people. But what happens when its influence works? Its call to action effective? People convinced? That brings us right back around to Green Day. During the Super Bowl, every song they performed was pre-21st century breakdown. Come time for Bad Bunny and we get full counterculture. Whether you like it or not, Bad Bunny is just as American as Kid Rock, and no less American than I. According to the 2024 census, 14% of the US population speak Spanish. That means an estimate of nearly 40 million Americans speak Spanish. So it's fair to ask, what is American culture? What makes someone American? Birthright has been threatened, a path to citizenship narrowed, and freedom of speech targeted by MAGA. The administration even went as far to question the Second Amendment after the Alex Pretty shooting, who legally carried a firearm. Much like historical reactions to counterculture, MAGA seeks to label whatever it opposes as the devil's rock. So naturally, at the MAGA halftime show, they headline a guy named Kid Rock playing hits from his album Devil Without a Cause. What I'm trying to say is that America has always been kind of punk. I mean, the founding fathers were opposing the man. They were offering a counterculture to the British monarchy. We as a people are complex, flawed, and hopefully always growing. We offer so much good, so much potential, yet we're violent and selfish. We lash out and get lost. We seek out comfort and acceptance, but we often compromise and contradict to get there. Punk is immature, it's emotional. What it offers is not sanctuary from our flaws or its flaws, but rather acceptance. To be punk is to be messy. To be egalitarian is to be human. And perfection is not something you have, but something you strive for. I tie punk to the American dream because what feels outdated or archaic today shouldn't overshadow what it offers for tomorrow. The dream is ever evolving under constant threat, which is why we should never stop chasing liberty and justice for all. So, fuck the man. Long live Puerto Rico, punk, and the American dream. This video was a passion project of mine, and I know I haven't been posting on this channel, so that says a lot, but after watching the Super Bowl, I was just really inspired to dissect a reaction that I was having. When growing up, I resonated with punk a lot, and I guess in my older age, I thought I outgrew it. This kind of forced me to reflect on what it meant to me then and how it applies to me now. And while it's important to argue against anything that contradicts punk's values, it's also antithetical to try to take ownership of punk, which is why I'm hoping that, as corny as this sounds, I made a good enough argument for you to see yourself as punk too.